Hello guys, this is Jamie and welcome to your fourth Java tutorial using the NetBeans IDE. And in this tutorial I'm going to go over for loops, which I was going to go over previously but decided against it because I had a better idea. And actually before I go into for loops I will explain this better idea. So far everything we've done, we're kind of doing it separate, in the sense that I'm taking one concept and showing you that, taking another and showing you that. Well, my idea from now on is to incorporate everything you will have learned in the previous tutorials into the next tutorial. So for this for loops one, we're going to take the idea of what we did in week one, which is hello world. So system output, we're going to take the concept of variables, we're going to take the concept of user input, and we're going to implement for loops for the first time. And what this is going to do is going to just help you see larger programs build up, and I have an idea for different projects that I'm going to do for you guys and show you guys, and yeah, it's going to just help build up to bigger programs that are so much better, so much more powerful than showing you each individual concept in multiple classes and all that jazz. So now that's out of the way, for loops. What for loops are basically ways of running a set of code or block code a certain amount of time. And no, I don't know why, I can't be bothered, sorry. There. Yeah, so it's basically, if you know the amount of time something needs to be done, it will do it that amount of times. Currently, if you wanted to do that, so you don't need to copy this, but you can if you want. If I wanted to print out hello again world on the screen, that's fine, that'll do it once. If I copy and paste that 10 times, it will output it 10 times. But copy and pasting that 10 times is not what we want. We don't want to see like our programs having that 10 times in it and then outputting it 10 times. That's kind of pointless because we know how many times it needs to be repeated. Why can't we get someone to do it? That's what a for loop's used for. It will be used for, well, in this case we're going to use it for outputting something a set amount of times. But yeah, that's the general concept behind this type of for loop. So what this program is actually going to do is it's going to do the multiplication tables for whatever the user wants. So say the user wants the 4 times table, it's going to actually output the 4 times table to a set value, to the user specified value, sorry, and then display the total as well. So the easiest way to show you what I actually mean is to go ahead and start coding this program. So if you haven't already, go get a class up, call it whatever you want. Again, as long as the file name is the same as the class, it should be fine. And the first thing I actually did here was import java.util.scanner, because we're going to use user input again in this tutorial. So since we've got that, we might as well start with the scanner and go new scanner. Scanner goes new scanner. Oops. Scanner to keen, that's what that was. There we go. So we've just got another scanner again. You should know what this is from the last tutorial. The next thing we want, and I'm going to show you a cool thing now. We're going to have 3 integers in this. The first is going to be the user's input for what times table they want. So I'm going to call that times table. The second is going to be an integer for what value they want to display to. So if they wanted to display the 4 times table up to 50, or up to 10, or up to 20, that's what this variable is going to be. And for that I'm going to call it counter. And the next thing we want is going to be total, and total is going to be a calculated field. It's going to be that times that. It's going to be what it is times by the values up until it's reached the head of the counter, basically. And what I did here, basically up until now we were taking different types of variable generally and declaring them separately. So this would have been done like int counter and then int total, and that would have been done it. But no, what I've done here is I've decided to put it on the same line, because you can do that. That's how it works. So once you've done that, or you can do it the standard way, I don't mind, we want to actually start using user input. So we're going to just tell the user what to do, and we're going to tell the user, we're going to ask the user, sorry, what multiplication table would you like to view? So that's just saying, well, you can read it yourself, you know what it's saying, I don't need to tell you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set the times table value equal to scanner.nextInt. Sorry, I had a moment there. I wasn't sure what I was doing, but I do now. And then what we're going to do is .out.println to what value would you like to display to? And for that, system.out. So we're going to do counter equals scanner.nextInt. There. So if you don't recognize what I'm doing, I've explained it all before in my last tutorial. I'm basically just assigning the user input to a variable, which will be used later. So that's all stuff you've done before. Now we're actually getting to the for loop. And the easiest way for me to go through a for loop is basically to write out this for loop and then go back and explain it to you guys. Because it's difficult for me to type it and explain exactly what I'm doing at the same time. And you'll probably see why. So to start a for loop in Java, what we do is do for bracket int I equal to 0, I less than counter I plus plus. Then we were going to do total equals times table times I. And then we're going to do system.out.println times table, oops, don't need that in brackets, times table and x and I and equals and total. Now, this probably looks like absolute gibberish to you guys, so take a minute, write it down, and I'll go through it. So, we know it's a for loop, so we started with for, and in here is basically the sort of condition that we're going to be waiting for, basically. And in here, inside these two brackets, is the code that we're going to execute for as long as this condition is true. So all I've done here is, you've seen this before, except not in a loop. Int I equals 0, we're just declaring a new variable and calling it I and setting it to 0. This next bit, after this first semicolon, is basically saying, okay, this value I, is it less than the counter? And the counter, as you remember, is the user's input of to what value is going to be displayed till. And in fact, we're going to add an equals sign in here because we want it less than or equal to. And then once it's checked that, it's going to go, okay, if it is, add 1 to I. And that's all this plus plus means. It basically just means add 1 to the value I. So after running once, that value I will now be 1. And then it'll check again and again and again until that is no longer true. When that condition becomes false, it'll exit the loop and the program will be done. So let's take a look at the block of code inside here. So it loops through once and it says this variable total now. Okay, it's going to do this. It's going to set the variable total to times table asterisk I. And what this means is we're taking the user's value of whatever times table they wanted to see. So again, if they said the 4 times table, it's going to take 4 and it's going to times it by this I that's here. And so what that's going to do the first time around is going to go, okay, your value 4 times 0, and then store that value in there. This asterisk is actually multiplication. It means multiply by or times in most languages, I think. In general computing, I think if you open it up with your calculator, it'll have an asterisk rather than an X. But yeah, hopefully you should know that. If not, yeah, that's what that means. It just means multiply it by that. Division is slash, so if I wanted to divide it, I would just type that divided by that, and it would carry it out. But we're not doing that, we're doing multiplication. So once it's done that, it's going to go, right, what do I want to do after that? So we've told it to output the times table variable and x. Basically, I've just used x rather than asterisk, because when you used to see sums written out, you didn't see it like a computer does. Well, a computer doesn't see it like that, but I'm going to say it does. You used to see it as a kid or whatever when you're doing math. You would used to see it as x. You didn't see it as an asterisk. So that's all that's saying. So it's going to be 4 times this I value that we've already taken equals total. That's all it's doing. If you don't recognize this sort of syntax, the like them and whatnot, go back to my last tutorial, because I said the reason I didn't do this tutorial is because I didn't go over that. So go back and watch it, and you should understand that all we're doing here is taking variables, displaying them, taking string values, and displaying them along with it. And when I hit run, you will see exactly what I mean. So, what multiplication table would you like to view? Well, I've been saying 4 a lot, so we'll go over the 4 times table. To what value would you like to display it to? Well, I want to display it to 4 times 10. There. So, bam, what's it done? It's gone 4 times 0 equals 0, 4 times 1 is 4. I'm pretty sure you should know the 4 times table. If not, I advise you learn it. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 30, 36, 40. So it goes all the way up to 4 times 10, like we've set it to. And as soon as it's got to the stage where I is no longer equal to the counter, so I is at 10 and it would be 11 in the next scenario, it exits the program. That's all we asked it to do. It works fine. Just to prove again, if I wanted to do something really stupid that I don't know the 19 times table, so I'll do 19 times 10. And if you know the 19 times table, I'm pretty sure this should be right, but go for it. So what it's saying is 19 times 1, 19 times 2 is 38, and I'm basically just going ahead and doing that. So yeah, we basically built a working multiplication calculator using variables and for loops and whatever the user wanted. And that's really what I wanted to go through today. So yeah, we've achieved something. Don't think there's anything else. So yeah, we've incorporated everything we know so far. I've shown you about for loops, and I think I'll leave it there. If you do get stuck with this at any point, or you have questions about it, something maybe that I probably haven't explained brilliantly, leave a comment and I will be able to type a description much better than I can verbally speak it. So yeah, need any help, comments, I'll try and get back to you. And other than that, have a good day or night. See you guys later.